Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the North East Non-League Show, Looking Back With, sponsored by Beer Watch TV, Sunderland West End, Durham City FC, Jade Bell, and of course, proud to support If You Care Share Foundation. Join us now for our next Looking Back With. We have Martin Swales. Martin, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight.
You're very welcome, James. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, but no, I remember I wrote this one out a few weeks ago, and I said that the plan was to look back at your time with the great jobs that you've done at Ryhope and RCA, but we're going to have to touch on getting back into management. I know I've had to edit a few questions later on. I had a little feeling when I seen it might end back up there, but we'll get onto that bit soon.
Spot on.
But yeah, starting off at Ryhope, and I mean, how did the opportunity at Ryhope all come around at that time?
It's quite bizarre. Obviously, I finished playing. And so there's a lad called Kevin Turns who incidentally his son's now playing left back for us at the minute at RCA.
Right.
A lad called Kev Turns, and he was running a team called CM Town in the Durham District League, which is quite a strong league. So he said, "Here," so as he said, "Come along, give us a hand out with this job." He said, "We've got some great players, blah blah blah." Me and Sean Butler and G went along. It was my two assistants at the time, and we went along. And I said, "Look, what's it?" He said, "Well, call it Team Kitchen Magic." Obviously, my kitchen company's called Kitchen Magic, so it was called Team Kitchen Magic. So anyway, it turns out, we've got a great setup. We played Dorden's pitch, which is a fantastic pitch actually, in Dorden, flat, big pitch, and we did obviously quite well. And 3 games, Turns he was gone nowhere to be seen. So there's your balls, there's your bags, there's your strips. You're in now. So honestly, I was there for 2 or 3 seasons, and I think we were bottom of the league sort of thing when we did well. We got a couple of cup finals and we did smash them. But I was just obviously bringing players in, like I said, many years ago, Craig Price, Lee Chapman, Darren George, like Weyside League players going into our Durham combination. It was when Aycliffe were in that league. Actually, Alan Oliver was the manager, and they were very good then. And we just done really well. And obviously things moved on to I got a call from Ryhope Corrie Welfare. But that's where I started.
Like you say,
CM Town with the Durham Lions.
But as you say, the things at Ryhope just started building bigger and bigger season by season. The 2009-10 season, won the Monkway Wealth Charity Cup, runners up in the league. At that point, obviously, with the players that you had and what you had built there, did you think this could go to big things now?
To be fair, when I got there, Ronnie Crosby, the chairman at the time, I called Dougie Benson, who was still with the club when they went, rang us and said, "Obviously, I see you're doing a good job at CM. Would you want to come and have an interview for the job at Ryhope Corrie Welfare?" I was always silent. I was like, "Not really. I'm all right." Well, anyway, so we had a meeting. I was thinking, they'll meet somewhere nice, and meet us in this pub in Ryhope. Anyway, get there, and Ronnie Crosby, who played football, a big rough old guy, he still comes and watches RCA, if I'm being honest. I texted yesterday with the win, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "Tap me out off to you." He said, "The players you get in at CM, obviously keep tapping on my best players to play at CM." Anyway, so he gives us, he sat there in the club and he gives in the bar and he gives us the job. Right, stop. But to be fair, the lad who had the club previous to me, a lad called Chrissy Linstead, left the club with some great young ones, Swanner, Truick, Davis, Johnny Davis, that is, who played for Durham actually, and great lads, and we just built on it with what he had the foundations there, and we took it a little bit further. But Christy Linstead did a great job with some great kids there when we took over, and it just went from, it was always 44 years, never had a trophy, and then it did quite well the first season. Then like I say, won that the Armstrong Trophy, and went from there just to ship owners. And that was always my aim, to win the ship owners. I always wanted to win the ship because it was a fantastic trophy. I always wanted to win that.
Yeah, and I think from there, that was the starting blocks. I mean, the next 2 seasons, 10-11, 11-12, winning all 4 competitions, Weyside League, Ship Owners Cup, Monkway Wealth Cup, the League Cup. As a manager, you must have been feeling on top of the world at that point.
Yeah, I was good. I mean, obviously, as well, I had some good assistants. I had Anne Smith, I had Gary Errington, Sean Butler. They've always been there with us as well, and Lenny Fred, goalkeeping, coaching. I've had some great lads around us because, people are laughing the joke. Obviously, I like a few orders now and again. I like to pop off here and there. So they take the reins when I'm away. But we had some great lads, great setup, and not just me. Obviously, Dougie Benison, Darren, the sponsor, Corrie Welfare, Ronnie Crosby, the chairman, and again down Graham Defty, who's an absolute legend, Wilson, Rob Jones. Yeah, you've got to have good people around you to make a good side. So yeah, not just me. Obviously, I'm the manager, but there's a lot of people around us who's put a lot of effort in the club as well, or clubs as well.
Not really good. At that point as well, was it kind of getting the squad? Was it a lot of local lads, or were you getting players from around the area coming in? Often we're doing so well.
Predominantly Sunderland based. I always try to look at that sort of people from, and I think the only kid we had away from the town at the time was, sorry, the goalkeeper was Lenny French, who was a Hartlepool lad, and I brought a lad in from Prudhoe, he lived in Chester Street, called Chris Wynn, Winnie, and him and Paul just hit it off like they were fantastic. I think John scored 56 goals in a season. I think Winnie was 50 or 49, something. They were phenomenal together, phenomenal.
Not really good. And game promotion.
Predominantly Sunderland boys, if I'm being honest.
Southern ones. And then, like you say, getting promotion to the Northern League, which was a great success for the club, first time in the club's history. You must have been that for, let's see what we can now do going on building for the future at that point.
I would, and I think that's when I brought Winnie in, and we brought some experienced lads in, and we seemed to kick on a bit, and we were flying. I remember flying. Then it hit the buffers just maybe after Christmas, because there was a talk we wouldn't go because we didn't have the stand. We had to have this stand,
Right.
so we couldn't ground share. And then I think it got on people. Oh, we're not going to Division 1, and lads were thinking, obviously, because we're doing really well, I want to be in the first division of the Northern League, not the Wayside League, not the division. And then so it become a bit of a put the buffers on us a bit. So we as being like scoring goals for fun and winning games convincingly, it stopped us in our tracks a little bit, and we lost a little bit of appetite for it. So that's hence why we didn't run away with it. And to be fair, Gary Pearson, rest his soul, Crook pipped us at the end. I think they beat us 2-1 at their place, and the pip was for the league. But that was just a simple reason we put the buffers on a little bit with the stand and what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and like you say, that was the 2012-13 season. First season, Division 2, finished second by 3 points, but promoted Division 1. First time asking, as you say, like John Butler, 56 goals in that season. How good was that squad that you built? And then obviously looking...
Amazing, James. Obviously, from we had a lad called Rooksy in goal, Swanner, the spine and the side, Swanner, Chrissy Truick, Butler, Winnie, Adam McGuinness. We were absolutely Mars Craig, who's been on here. Mars coming, all head on, doing smashing for us. Got round the lads, rallied round them, and if you surround yourself with good lads and good players who want to win games, it works. So that's what it is. We've got a bit of experience in, lots of young ones with good legs, and we kicked on. We've done smashing, done great.
Really good. And we just touched on there with the lads wanting to play at a high level due to the off-field, like you say, the grading issues, couldn't get promotion to Division 1, relegation back to the Wayside League. At that point, obviously, after the hard work that you've done, the graph that the players put on, was it frustration, angry? What was it feeling like at the time after that season?
It was difficult, and I remember the day. It was like yesterday. We were down Redcar, and I think it was a Wednesday night, Tuesday, Wednesday night. Redcar, smashing, and went down there, and I was carrying balls, cones. It was raining, it was pissing down, absolutely. And I thought, I didn't need this crap. I was freaking running about, beating to work all day, run down to Redcar, and that was like actually down. We beat them 1-0 actually, and on the way back, I got a phone call off Bishops, and said obviously the lad who was in charge who looked again, would I be interested in the job? And I was like, leave it with us. Anybody that rang us was in Newcastle next year. They rang us the next day, and I said, I would. So they said, well, come for an interview. So I went for the interview, and they give us a job at Bishops, and I thought, well, good, big, lovely setup it was. And obviously then I left Ryhope, Corrie Welfare to go to Bishops for a season.
Yeah. And I just want to say as well, a couple of comments coming in there. Lee Halden, top man Swaz, always been a big help to us. Like you say, any comments as well, get them in. We'll get them all read out as well. But again, thank you everyone so much for watching so far. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well. So getting on your move now to RCA, September 2014, appointed manager at RCA. Was it mixed emotions, obviously leaving Ryhope so close to RCA, or was you just wanting a new challenge at that point?
To be fair, I think CA has always been, in my eyes, the better of the two Ryhopes, because obviously that all round. You could leave your bags, you could leave your stuff there. They had the groundsman, the one grounds. Whereas at CW, it was the council. They put the post right. They cut the grass, and you couldn't leave out there because the Sunday morning side played there. Or whereas at CA, it was basically lock, stock, and barrel was yours. You could leave your gear, you could leave your training kits and your boots anywhere you want. So it was basically your club. And then obviously they were struggling. I think they were basically bottom of the league and they were going down. And me and G went in and we turned it around. I think we finished quite comfortable, 5th or 6th bottom. And like before the season finished, we escaped relegation and we just kicked on from there. But and I spent 7 fantastic years at RCA. I love the club, and yeah, that's just brought lads in. Yeah, the club backed us. Graham Defty, who played incidentally, backed us to the hill. He was always me old guy, obviously, but loved the club. He's still there now. He cuts the grass and that. And he works on him and Dave. Honestly, that's their life. Monday to Friday at the ground, every single day, cutting the grass, putting lines down, washing the strips, and they're brilliant. And they're still there every day. And he definitely backed us to the hill. Well, if I needed any budget or anything, he backed us all the time. But some great lads, absolutely fantastic lads.
No, really good time. Like you say, you go in there and moving up to Division 1, obviously you're playing against side of them. I mean, there's some big teams in the league at that point with some big budgets. But at the end, as you say, you finished 10 points clear of the bottom 3. Was it nice now just to kind of get a chance of building your own squad over that summer, getting the players kind of in that you want, players out that you don't kind of want there at that time?
Well, you had to, because obviously, finishing near the bottom wasn't what we wanted to do. We wanted to achieve big and better things, and that's why we had, if I'm being honest, quite a major overall. But some of the lads who was at the Corrie Welfare, they were still young, relatively young, and we brought them down with us. And I get a good alliance with me players, which like Chrissy True, who was at the Corrie Welfare, Swanner, Clayton Davis. They're still playing with us to this day. They still was at Larks, obviously 7 years at RCA. He could have went anywhere, this lad, and his battles playing for Nout. It's unbelievable. But you build these relationships with people and you get a big trust from them, so they want to come back and help you because you've done good favours for them. So, and that's the way I look at it. I look after people if they look after me.
Oh, definitely. And like you say, the 2015-16, decent season, decent squad as well. One player, as you mentioned there, that stood out was the signing of Colin Larkin. I know I watched him a few times down at Hartlepool, and his work rate, and I just love me coaching as well. So he used to always go to Maiden Castle and trying to pick up what Hartlepool doing and coaching. He was one of those that always stood out with just his hard work and graft. But what was it like to have that experience in and around the club, and obviously a comfortable mid-table finish at that point as well? Were you happy with the progress?
Oh, it was amazing, but just Lark's got people in and around him. He's like Peter Pan. We called him Peter Pan yesterday. He's unbelievable, mate. He's 40 years old, and you should see just how fit he is, his pace, his quality. He's just one step ahead of everybody. And to be fair, he's just, unbelievably fit, and he's a great kid to have. But not just him. There was like Swanner, Adam McKeon, Sparky, Mark Davison, Michael Charlton. So we had loads of crowd favourites, and we don't smash them. The Vars runs wide was great days. It's just predominantly like son and boys who are trying to keep it in and around us, and just we had a great time. Like I said, the Vars days, the 4th in the league, with a small budget compared to the big hitters, your massive hitters. We were relatively very little budget.
No, it was really good. Like watching the progress for the website, because I mean that's always kept up with great standards. The website and the profiles and stuff like that. It was nice to watch the scenes going on, and you just say that the wins just kept coming and coming and pushing on as well. Really good. In the 2016-17, I mean it was the crazy season. 3 teams over 100 points that year as well, but finished 11th. But when you look at that league table last year. I think a few more points and you could have been pushing top 8. It just shows you how close it was, apart from the teams up the top. I mean, after the progressing and getting to that stage, did you want to then push on even further? Obviously, the 4th place finish on 79 points then, with that squad still young, but a good quality squad as well. The likes of, like say, Swansbury, Page, Larkin, etc. What made things click in that season when you finished 4th? Was it just the group, the players, yourself, or was it just the people, everyone getting behind the team at the time?
No, I think they got into winning habits, and they just didn't want to get. How many goals we scored in the last 5? Last 5 minutes, because they hated getting beat, and they didn't have that. They just pushed and pushed and pushed. And when honestly, on the amount of goals we scored, because they were brilliant for each other. It was just a good group, a very very good group, and lads who come in the squad will go, I've never been like a group like this. There was no bad apples, all good lads, all good. So yeah, they just work for each other. And yeah, if you were out the side, they didn't get the lip on. Yeah, if you got dragged off, they didn't get the lip on. Like now, somebody's on the side or get dragged off, they're down, they're getting changed.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that's one of my pet hates. You know, if you win together, you lose together. You know, you get dragged off. You sit and watch the lads till the end of the game. It's just one of my pet hates. But no, we had a fantastic group, and yeah, you've got like people that went round Larks and Swanner. They were always round because they were two just happy people. Stephen Stewart, who's the Chester Street man now, Stewart, he come along and he was so funny as well. And he was a player man, like player system manager, and he was good. He was good in the dressing room. It was just good set of lads in and around. And I always, if I've been honest, I always try and get the background on people. Yeah, you could be the best player in the world, but if you had a shit attitude and you were, yeah, you wouldn't fit in. I'd rather not sign you, if I'm being honest.
Exactly.
Like people who's got a good big crack, good banter, who's not going to upset the dressing room at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to touch on as well. When you say about players now, I think I seen it last week when someone got dragged off, and rather than sitting on the bench with his teammates, he was straight on the side of the pitch, kicking the ball, was going to get a shower, and I was thinking, and I think it's just the attitude of you look at the kind of players now compared to 10 years ago, it's totally different now, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, if I'm being fair, I used to tell Law, they dragged the centre forward off yesterday, and another lad who was experienced, two experienced lads dragged. One went sat on the bench, which he should have done, which was good crack. The other lad marched straight down past us, down to the change rooms to get changed. I thought, that's bang out of order. But that's different. And kids, I think that's the way it is now. But no, that doesn't happen with me. You sit on that bench until the game's over, and you support the lads. But it's mad. I think it's just young ones who put up. Well, I'm saying it can't be because there was a lad yesterday who was quite experienced who did exactly the same. He went down, got stripped. That's not right.
And I think it's on the pitch as well, like you say. But I would say a decade ago, you're watching the Northern League football, and they're just people running through brick walls for each other. And now, I think with some of the young ones, not all of them, but I think some of them got to almost drag them through with you, don't they? When you look at them, they just don't want to go for that tackle, or they just come out of this, or they just want to go home. Or put a picture on Instagram or whatever. Them things that the users go out, and that's all they're looking forward to, aren't they?
Well, I think you know what I mean. Again, I think it's academy football. They're all going to and the coaches come through. You just pass. In and around the box, pass. Yeah, let's get the ball into areas where you're going to affect people, but they don't want to tackle. Not like your big raw bone. Yeah, how many times Swan used to smash people? Honestly, I mean, but Swan, he's got the biggest legs in the world, and he smashed somebody, and it just gives the whole side a lift.
And, it does, yeah.
Larks used to say, and Adam McGinnis will go, hey, Swan, you goes to win today. That tackle you're doing, and you got everyone going to lift up. Maybe playing shit, and then somebody does something like that, and just gives everybody a lift. And hey, let's rally around. Let's go and have a go at them. And it does. It happens all the time.
That really helps, doesn't it?
It does massively.
Do you know Gary Everton?
Oh, gee,
what a load of rubbish he talks. He says. But getting back to the
he's very ugly, bald, and backward. That's what he's called, backward.
And getting back to the RCA now, I mean, it's just a shame because like every season you were building, finishing higher and higher, and then the COVID season hits 2019-20 season, and then the game cut short to 2020-21. For yourself as a manager, and I know how much you love your football, just being chat there before we came on, how hard was that to kind of step away from not just the touchline, but couldn't even go and watch football anywhere? There was nothing on the telly to watch. It was a hard time for yourself.
It was massively hard. But to be fair, James, obviously, in the COVID, we had a couple of grandchildren. Obviously, my son had a baby, my daughter had a baby, so we got a couple of grandchildren.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Business was absolutely booming, believe it or not, in COVID, but it was mad. And then I also a personal project I did on with myself, so I had to concentrate on that and the two grandchildren and COVID as well. So it was, if I'm being honest, it was a good excuse to get out without affecting the club massively. I didn't leave them in the lurch. There was no football going around, so it gave them time to get somebody else in, somebody else build the side, keep what he wanted to do. So I thought, right, this is a good time to go, And then obviously Riley, who took over, Steve, was with us at the club as well at the time as well. So Riley obviously took over and he knew the lads and he knew who we wanted to keep and things like that, So obviously they did it. So Riley took over and and I mean, Steve just took over. He left now, hasn't he? I have to over again.
Yeah, it was at a hard time. I mean, like you see, April 2021, after 7 years at the RCA, progression each season, FA Cup, and like you say, then Vars runs as well. What was kind of going through your mind at that time about stepping down, or was it because of you stepped away for that long because of COVID? Did you think it was time to have a little break from it?
I just needed a break, if I was being totally honest, and
Yeah,
especially with the grandkids and just time. It just obviously it's amazing how much non-league football takes of your time. So
aye,
if you train twice a week, your Saturdays football or training twice a week training, you go and watch your game on a Sunday, you'll go watch your game on a Wednesday because you want to look at somebody, and it just it was really time taking. And to be fair, the RCA's got a very small budget, very small, and clubs were coming in and having huge budgets, and you couldn't physically compete. So it got me back a bit, if I'm being honest. I'm saying,
I would.
it's you've got good players who deserve good. I mean, lads turn big money down, like Stevie Carl, Lark, Swanner, the goalkeepers, and Sparty Davison, Mark Davison, and turned down great money to stop with RCA because of me and G. And you think you want to compete, we want to be at the top, we want to be giving better players better money to get them in. I just look at Newport Pagnell, I look at sides that we played in the Vars and we beat them, and they've gone to bigger and better things now. They're up in like Eben,
Yeah.
we're competing with them fellas, and your Dunstons, and we'll beat them in the FA Cup and things, and we're obviously going down and they're going up. That just affects us a lot with the football,
I wonder. I mean, looking back with the time at the Ryhope and then the first spell with RCA, looking back at that, are you proud of the work that you've done at them two clubs?
Oh, massively, yes. Not just me though. I like to say Anthony,
Yeah,
Sean Butler, Lenny, G, Steve Riley. But, collectively, not just me. Collectively, we've done it together, And I'm very proud. And when I was out of football, I've had some good offers to get back into it from the COVID and being not in football. And I've had some great offers to go back into football, and just I didn't fancy it. I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in going to RCA until I got the phone call on the Saturday when it was G ringing us. I was in Newcastle and my wife shopping, and it's 8-0. I said, what's 8-0? He said, RCA's getting beat 8-0. And it's not even half time. I was like, you're joking. So he rings, I was on the way back, and he rings, it's 11-0 now, 74 minutes. And then obviously he rings after, and then the chairman rings and said, look, would you come and just help us out at the end of the season, just to steady the ship and try and keep us. That was it. Obviously, it's my club. I've been there 7 years. Built it from, like when went in, me and G went in bottom of the league, and I thought we've turned them into a top 10 side, a decent side, reputable side, and I didn't want to see them go down, and that's
exactly.
I jumped back on, and hopefully we'll keep them up in Division 1, and fingers crossed they get a decent sponsor next year, and hopefully a new manager will come in, and all the hard work we've put in to keep them up, they'll carry it on,
That's it. Like we said before the show, tell all the fans at RCA to get subscribed. So if we hit that 1,000, that's our plan. We want to sponsor as many teams as we can. So the better male sponsors, we're happy to help. But yeah, I've had to kind of rewrite this one because what this was down as we talked about the social media. Obviously, the RCA job comes up and it was everywhere. Facebook, Twitter was absolutely class. Even in our Facebook group as well. Who do you think was the right man for the job? And it was your name popped up every time. And I know there's a couple of comments saying, "Oh, that bridge is past now," and nothing like that. But do you love being back there?
To be fair, when I go up to the club, when I wasn't managing, Steve was managing, I was going, you just have a car park space for you, you get in, you cup of tea. And if I'm being honest, the same as Neil Hickson. Neil goes, and the club's just a proper friendly family club. They look after your people who's been and done well for them. So, it's a great club, fantastic club, and whoever takes over next year will go to a fantastic club because there's no pressure whatsoever. I think you'd lose 20 games and they wouldn't sack you because they'll just say, "I'll turn it around." It's an amazing club. It just needs a good sponsor, good backer, because they've got the right people in there. The grounds, it's great, man. It's lovely people. The fans is great. But the biggest fan, what the people like the RCA, the fans, not a great deal of it, if I'm being honest, but interact with them, talk to them, be their friends, take time out with them. I always do like used to stand talking to the guys and just become friends and crack on with them. And yeah, the club's building. They're getting the junior teams in now. The junior lads are doing a great job. Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, they've saved the club. The juniors, the reserves have saved RCA because they would have been gone. If we hadn't started this reserve or the junior section, the club would have been gone now. It would have been finished because they wouldn't have had nobody to take over. But the reserves have come in. Yeah, probably not good enough. Good enough, if I'm being honest. But some of them's good enough, and some will be good enough, and they'll progress to the side. We've still got 3 or 4 lads who's with us from the reserves who was in the squad yesterday, and 3 of them played. But the committee from the junior section have to give them full credit because they've been brilliant, and they just want good stuff at RC as well, the first team and themselves.
No, really good. And like you say, we've got to finish as well before we go into our quick fire round about the win yesterday. I was scrolling on Twitter. I was keeping refreshing every couple of minutes. This is going to win, and then obviously great 3-2 win yesterday. I know cracking goal by Larks as well. How was the game yesterday for yourself? What was the feelings like?
We started really well, if I'm being honest, very well. We got in and we had chance after chance. And they had a 16-year-old kid in goal because Tom Orton pulled up before the game.
Right.
And I thought, put one on him, put a corner on him and smash the little, the 16-year-old kid. And to be fair, he was brave as a lion. His handler was fantastic. He was superb for a 16-year-old on his debut. But yeah, 2-0 down. I was like, oh no, this is not. I mean, another 6-0. Like last week, Redcar, 40 minutes. And they are a good side. They're a very good side, Redcar. Very good side. 2-0 against. I thought, dear me, I was oh god. And then Larks just pings one of the. Honestly, I mean, it hit the stand. It hit the stand. Just and then it gives you a lift, and then 3 minutes later with 2-2, and we just busted. If I'm being honest, we absolutely could have been 6 or 7. We murdered them, and then obviously young Turnsey, a kid from the reserves, comes obviously full back in the box and drills one of the keeper saves and cancels Stevie Callan, who's just first game back. We played 90 minutes after 2 years, never kicked the ball. One of my old boys, and he's on the line. He pops it in 3-2, and it was last 5 minutes was absolutely you can imagine, but great, unbelievable. Yeah, and I just said to G, in the change room after the game, I went, we've beat Towler 3-2. And it's like we've just won in the 4th round of the Vars. We're jumping on. I was like, 3 seasons ago, this would have been shit. We wouldn't have been happy beating Towler 3-2.
Aye.
Because the circumstances and where we are at the moment, it's like lads is buzzing, everybody's buzzing, the club's buzzing. It's crazy how things change.
No, I was over the moon. Feels like I say, hopefully myself and my son's going to try and get down to the home games for the end of the season as well. Like, so we're really looking forward to it. To come down and support as much as we can as well. We're really good.
We've got Crook at home soon, I believe.
Crook, we'll come down. What's that? Yeah, we've had actually Crook manager on a couple of times when he's at Brandon, so might come down that one actually. A good shout that one.
The week.
But again, hitting double figures now, absolutely amazing. Also that.
Yes.
Oh, just saying, hitting double figures now, absolutely fantastic. The support throughout the night's been absolutely amazing as well. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button as well. Getting on the quick fire round now, which we always ask our guests 5 questions before we finish the show. They go down really well. There's some great answers that we've had over the last few episodes as well. So start with number 1. Slightly change at night because we've got management on rather than the players. So we're going to go through a few different type of questions. But number 1. Who was the hardest working trainer that you've managed over the years?
God, as though I think this shows about these 2 lads. What I want to mention, we spoke about these 2. It's got to be we call him Wayne. I call him Wayne Larkin, by the way, not Colin Larkin. Because I'll tell you a tale. We were down. We got fined. I was secretary Rob Jones put Wayne Larkin down. We're playing Gisborough away. Wayne Larkin. So on the tannoy. And number 10, Wayne Larkin. So obviously from then I've always called Wayne Larkin. But we're going to find because so obviously I call Larks Wayne. So Larks is unbelievable. I takes the trainer as well, if I'm being honest. Great trainer. A lad, I don't know if you know a lad, John Jury. Have you a lad from Coxer called John Jury?
Yes, Coxer. Yeah.
Little JJ, he was fantastic trainer. And Swanner was always there, good, worked his pods off, and just again, them 3 really, really, really good trainers.
Yeah, so we've had the hardest work, and who's probably been the laziest trainer on the, but always gives it on the pitch though.
Yeah, always unbelievable. Adam McGuinness, who's still playing for Easing now, he's captain of Easing.
Right.
Absolutely born idle. Born idle. Wouldn't even run and pick a ball up. He was the worst trainer ever.
Well, Gary's putting there, he's putting colour.
Who?
Callum.
Callaghan's a very good trainer. Yes, great attitude as well. And Callaghan, brilliant attitude.
And who's been the best technical player, all-round manager that you've that you've managed?
There's a few. Obviously, Wayne Larkin, of course, obviously formed league games, and Johnny Davis was very, very technical. I tell you, he was very technical. Now I've got who's playing for us now. Clayton Davis is unbelievably good technically, you know. But again, Larks, Johnny Davis, Clayton. Just trying to think of anybody else. No, that's probably about it technically, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Number 4, what's the ground? That's always your bull ground where you go to. You just kind of pick a win up, or there's always a nightmare stadium for someone.
Newcastle Benfield, always, absolutely every time I got there, it's horrendous. You know, we get back, or the summit happens, or just always the same at Benfield. We do quite well, and then we just run out of steam. But Benfield's my worst place in the world.
We had the chairman on last week, cracking lot actually. Really nice talk there last week. Number 6, best footballing moment.
Best footballing moment. If I'm being obviously back to the Ryhope Corrie welfare days, because when we won the 4 trophies the first year, nobody will ever do this again ever. And then the second year we won 3. We went to Wellington and it was 0-0. We battered them absolutely. Post bar referee was a lad called Shane Sugden, wouldn't give us a jot. Obviously, absolute nightmare. And then went to pens. And then a lad called Davey Anderson popped the 5th penalty, and we won 5-4 on pens. And that's to win the 4 trophies again that the second year, which everybody said you'll never ever do that ever again. And we did it. It was 1 penalties at Wellington. That was
brilliant. Class. And number 7, final question, funniest footballing moment.
2. There's 2. So obviously we at Dunstan, we were in the changing room. And Stephen Stewart, who's manager Chester again, he's a funny lad. And he's a character. So we're in the changing room. We just talked about the other day actually, and he's been stupid as he normally is, and so we all sit and watch him because we obviously knew what was happening. So he's carrying on calling everybody blah blah, and so obviously Clayton Davis had cut his socks up. So he's funny, like putting his socks on, and so he pulls his white sock on, his sock comes all the way up his knee. He just everybody's like a He's obviously because he's hungry, he's tight, he's very greedy, so he'd be gutted to buy a new pair of socks. But everybody was laughing their heads off, unbelievable. And another one again, I think we're at so somebody done Swanner were at them dodgy
the scratch cards.
Scratch cards, yes. So obviously Swan is thick as the castle wall. Honestly, he is numb. So Swan's scrubbing. I won 250 quid. One of the lads, obviously, so we knew it was a blag. So he said, "Hey, guys, look, Greg, you got another 2 today." Oh, aye. So, hey, phone me door. I've won 250,000 quid in the changing room. Phone me, Dad. I've won 250. So we're like, nah, Greg, kiss it up. He's got, I have. No, didn't touch the card, So obviously that was another one because he's thick, he just jumped on it. Phone me, dog, tell me, dog, I won 250 grand. Mad.
Gary's mentioned he's got on video. Stick it in the Facebook group. That's class, that like.
That's what I miss about the lads, the crack's great crack.
No, really good. But Martin, honestly, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, mate. I've great being on, James, and hopefully we'll see RC in a couple of weeks with a bit of luck, mate. We'll have
definitely, I will try and get down. Get the video vlog, get you on camera before the game, and that you'll love it.
Right, Jay can do it because Jay's very good. He stutters quite a bit. Though, so be careful. He stutters and he's bald and ugly.
But Martin and everyone that's been watching as well, we really honestly appreciate your support. The Facebook group, that couple of weeks, the members has been flying up, so really appreciate that. Smashing over 700 subscribers now, which is absolutely fantastic on the channel as well. So we really appreciate your support. Busy month. I think we're fully booked up now for up until my holiday in May now, which is quite a while away, but it's unbelievable the amount of guests that we've got coming on. So Thursday night, this Thursday coming, 10:09, we've got Peter Jeffries coming on, coming to chat about his time at Bishop Spenny, the Blythe Cup run, packing in a very early retirement as well, and some cracking stories I know he's got coming on. I know there's a few people worried about what he's going to be saying. Colin Myers one being, but I know he's coming on himself. Colin Myers a couple of weeks after that, so you can put a few things right. But no, Martin, thank you very much for coming out tonight, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your night as well.
Thanks, James.